It's the penultimate round of the Bridgestone production cars down in the Mother City. All this racing action proudly brought to you by BMW. Sheer driving pleasure. So the Mother City, the Killarney race circuit, this is where we may be able to wrap up at least one of these championships. It's been a tight season the whole way through the year, and Killarney is always going to be a horsepower circuit. We're watching to see if Johan Fourie, the local driver, can actually get the job done here as well. In the Class T's, it's all about the big horsepower on the turbos. In the qualifying for the Class A's, Johan Fourie put the BMW on pole.
And he's being chased down by 3 Audis, Matt.
Johan, a lot of pressure when we come down to Cape Town. You're always so good at this circuit, and once again, you've delivered the goods. Pole position in the Class A's.
Yeah, no, we're over the moon. We were a little bit worried this morning with the tricky conditions. It seemed like it's going to rain and it's going to fade and it's going to rain again. So that made us a little bit nervous, to be honest. Rear-wheel drive against a full drive in the wet, it's not going to work. But luckily it held off and it was a little bit slippery. It was hard to put a lap together, but luckily we managed to do it, and the car was running beautiful. The team did a fantastic job again last night. And you can see the cars with the new logos on of the Castrol joining the team as well. Just looks phenomenal, and I think the car just looks the part now. So now it's just down to the drivers to deliver the goods, and yeah, we over that one hurdle, so I'm over the moon.
Henny, penultimate round, Cape Town, you always run good here, but there's one man who always runs a little bit better, and that's Fourie. He's off the front. The rest of you guys are all over each other, though.
Yeah, you know, as close as what we saw at Swartkops, which is really healthy in Class A, and I think with the BMW we expected them maybe to have the pace, the initial pace on fresh rubber especially, so happy to be second today. I must say, you know, we thought we'll have 2 BMs ahead of us at least today, so to be in second, we've got a fighting chance there for the win, so we'll see how the start works out, and if we can slot in behind Johan, if we can't pass him at least, we'll slot in behind him and stay with him and see what happens closer to the end, if the four-wheel drive is going to make the difference to get us closer to the front.
Looking at the Class T's, it's all about Nathan. He's here to wrap up this championship. He takes pole ahead of Van Rooyen in the Chev. Charles Smallberger, his best qualifier, in third.
Gary Vermato, and then it's Sean Dumity. Both of those Fords looking for a win, and then Mandla Madakane in the Castrol Mini.
Nate, it's a penultimate round. It's Cape Town. You absolutely love this. Your car loves this track, and you can see it because half a second up the road, that is light years in production car racing.
Absolutely, the car is just on the rail. It's going like a train. The team has done a superb job as usual, and I'm loving the place. The weather this morning was perfect. It was cold and overcast. Turbo cars like it, but doing a good job.
Big surprises coming into this weekend. Your teammate, little Charles, he's on fire. One of the strange situations in the pits as well, though, the Mini, which always runs good down here, off the pace. The Fords, way off the pace.
Well, I can't talk about the rest of them, but Charles is doing a superb job. He's pulled his finger right out this weekend, and tucked in, dived in behind me and hung on for dear life, which I really appreciate, because I need all the help I can get. As a teammate, he's got to do the work for me, especially in the second race, a long race where he starts near the front. He's got to do the blocking role. He's got to pull a Sean Duminy on us, and we're going to go and see if we can wrap it up this weekend.
Mikey's second in qualifying, but Nathan is a full half a second up the road. It's going to be pretty hard to catch him, but we know that your car slips through the air solid, and when you really start trucking down this back straight, that's where the Chev can run.
Yes, it does. Half a second is miles ahead, but I think key will be to get in front of him on the first couple of laps and trying to keep him behind me. I think once he goes, he's going to leave us behind, unfortunately.
And Cape Town, it's so hard. That first corner, very, very tricky. You know, everyone's going to be trying to sweep around the outside, and then it's going to get physical. We know Class T gets physical into turn 2.
Well, Class T is known for trying to win the race on the first lap, so it's always interesting. But let's try and keep our noses clean and maybe make up a position.
So Cape Town is the place to be. It's round number 7 of the Bridgestone Production Car Championship, and it's race 1. This is going to be a ding-dong battle.
Fourie controlling the line up the inside, but Henny Groenewald already moving over and squeezing Michael Stephen all the way to the dirt, and that is going to be a situation. On board with Gary Vermato, there's Charles Smallberger tagging the back end of the Chevy. Mike Van Rooyen predicted that, and unfortunately that's Thompson having nowhere to go. Everyone knew turn 1, race 1 was going to be chaos, and there's Moss, standard option on the dirt.
Well, this is amazing because Michael Van Rooyen, it seems like he's a clairvoyant because he called it.
Exactly. Let's go on board, though, with Gennaro Bonafide. He sits fourth on the road at the moment, just trying to stay out of trouble for now, because you can see Cape Town is always going to be a little bit of chaos. It'll take a lap or two just to calm things down.
Well, yeah, you use the word calm lightly, but what's impressive right now is checking out the brand new livery of the BMWs, and we know how quick they are. We're in the backyard of your Humphrey, Johnny Fury.
Yeah, Alcohol Killer bringing on the Castrol colours as well, but right now it's all about the Audis trying to close down on the fastest BMW out front. Incredibly enough, though, the second BMW is way off the back. Van Rooyen mercifully getting himself going again.
Devastated. He must be devastated. Him and the team. My goodness, how much bad luck they've had this season.
It was definitely a car that was going to run good down here at the front end and already crossed the stripe for the first lap. And we take a breath. But the BMW is absolutely pinned, and it looks like Gav Cronier has found fifth gear and is charging.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work, these Audis, to do, because they know they're good in the short stuff around the corners. But we've got two massive long straights now for the BMW. And look at this. Unbelievable action in Class A.
And once again, sent all the way to the outside. That was set up because Gav Cronier had good legs at the very end of the straight there. Tried to go the long way around turn number one. Bonafide was there, sent him all the way to the outside, and Moss is all over this once again, just smoking those tyres.
Yeah, we'll be seeing a different Moss today. He's looked really good over practice sessions, put some good times down, and maybe that maturity is starting to show again.
It's going to be hard work for Gav Cronier to recover from where he is, because all the while he's trying to watch his mirrors, because this is where the Audis are super strong. Coming out of the dip all the way through Malmesbury, they get incredible drive, and look at that thing just tagging and wagging the tail, and this is where the BMWs really start to breathe fire down the big straight.
Yeah, that Malmesbury corner is an absolute gem, because you've got to be watching your line out there, but you can get the power down there to give you all the drive into the back straight. Now, Class T, look at that. Here come the GTIs, and behind that is Formato. Graham Nathan out in front there. A big battle expected from these two again.
Remember, we've lost the Chevy Cruze, so Smallberger inherits that second place, but he's going to have to work double time to close things down on Nathan. Good shot of Formato there, and he's doing some stellar work. Seems to be that Cape Town is where the Fords come good.
Well, yeah, they always have, and Gary will be the first to tell you, him and Sean Dermody will tell you that they enjoy coming to Cape Town, and normally the cars perform quite well.
And he's famously said this whole way through the season, he's not worried about race one. He's not worried about qualifying. He sets his car up specifically to go all out for the big points in race 2.
100%. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. And it shows dividends, because normally his race results are a hell of a lot better than his qualifying.
Big moment there. Charles just outbraking himself. There was no touch. Charles just went a little bit too hot into turn number 2, and all that work that he did in the first 2 laps have gone and sent him one place back. And look at Nathan up the road. That's around about a 2.5 second gap he's got off the front.
Yeah, well, he did say that in his interviews earlier on, that they've got a half a second on the field, and in production car racing, that's just a huge difference.
All you've got to do when you get a qualifying like that, if you know you've got a race setup where you can run those numbers, you can just pull it out. You've got to get the job done on turn 1, lap 1, and stretch the legs. Charles Smallberger, this is what we're talking about with the VWs, the GTIs, so strong down here at the coast, and on the legs he can really catch up, but Formato is going to cover the lines.
The other thing, he's got a fantastic mentor in Graham Nathan as well, and he's learning a lot from the big guy himself, and all he's got to do is watch and learn, and he will be an accomplished driver. Maybe next season it could be a big one for him.
The field is spread wide open. We go back. That's the Chevy Cruze. It's not a Class A car. It's the back end of the Class T's, and he's obviously got damage. Big lockup up the inside. This is our race leader in the Class A's, as the Chevy Cruze just stays over to the one side. Good driving, doesn't want to get into the mix, and allows the front end of the Class A's to go through. And it looks like we've got Henny Groenewald closing things down on our race leader.
But Ferrari is out in front in the BMW with a brand new livery and colours, and I think he might just tap it off, because I think he's got this in the bag.
Yeah, he's had a very good first race. Remember, 7 laps, a very short race around the Killarney circuit, and he is definitely pushing the hammer. But it's going to be all for nothing. Looks like that Sasol Audi is just going to stay in second place. Third place, Michael Stephen, quite comfortable and able to hold off the charging Bonafide as well. Incredibly enough, and no surprise, to be honest, Johan Fourie throwing in the best lap of the race, a 1:17.4, and clearly just rolling it out on that last lap, heading towards the flag. It's going to be Fourie that takes the win ahead of Groenewald, and Michael Stephen will get third place as he crosses the stripe. So Johan Fourie, the Cape Town driver who is looking to nail down this championship, is one step closer.
Well, hoping to nail down an entire championship is Graham Nathan, and we felt that he could actually put this to bed in this round. Great drive from Nathan. He's going to pick up the win. There's the checkered flag. Unbelievable result for Charles Smallberger as well, and the Fords were in the mix too.
So checking out confirmation of race 1 results from here at Cape Town. Johan Fourie gets the win. Michael Stephen moves up to second place after Henny Groenewold's infringement drops him down 1 position.
Having a look at the Class T result, there is the big man, Graham Nathan, winning it out. Gary Formato second, Charles Smallberger in the other GTI, Sean Duminy and Mandla.
Gary, coming in from qualifying, it looked like it was going to be a bit of a wild ride for you guys. The Fords and the Minis taking a back seat to the GTIs, but in the racing, you brought it forward.
Yeah, look, I mean, our whole strategy is really based around getting the car set up for the races, and it's been working well for us. But I think, however, the Golfs definitely have managed. They've done obviously a lot of good work, and they've definitely got something going on there, which is making the cars exceptionally fast down here. And you've got 2 massive straights, so it made life tough, you know. So we obviously couldn't get car past Charles as soon as we'd have liked. I mean, he was driving pretty well, and the car was difficult to overtake. So Graham had it easy there. So we'll see in the next one. You know, we'll go back now and see what we can do. But we just need a bit more. We need a bit more power here today, and then to just take us that little notch up. You know, we're close, but you just got to have that little bit.
Stay with us, because after the break, it's Heat 2, the feature race from the Bridgestone production cars. Welcome back to the Killarney race circuit, where you join us for our continued action from the Bridgestone production cars, the penultimate round. Before we get into the feature race, we've got some news talking about the future.
Well, it's good news for 2015 because local race fans can look forward to the tantalizing prospect of a field of high-performance compact hatchbacks going wheel-to-wheel on racetracks around the country next year, Matt. Thanks to a new class just announced, which aims to make production car racing more accessible, they are 1,600 forced induction cars. Exciting for 2015.
Exactly, and a great example to showcase them here at the Killarney race circuit.
Great thing about this, Matt, is that all the manufacturers will have an opportunity of coming into this spec race.
Going to broaden the field and allow drivers to move up. Right now we're moving up straight into the 12-lapper, the feature race, an inverted grid, double points, and the tension is palpable.
Already, Henny Groenewold, a little bit of argy-bargy there with one of the BMWs, and this is going to get ugly.
Goodness me, a little bit of argy-bargy, yes indeed. Everyone wants to get through, and it's so important, like we spoke about in race number 1, to pull the pin and get out front early on.
Now here is the big thing to watch out for. Can Simon Moss do the business for the Engine Extreme Audi?
Michael Stephen, remember, this is the driver coming down to this round that desperately needs the points. Of all of them, he has to win this race to get up to the back bumper of Fourie, because right now, it's all advantage to the BMW.
Yeah, I mean, 2014's been a really weird season for Michael Stephen. I mean, he has not been as dominant as we've seen in past years.
So with the inversion, we see Fourie at the back of this, chasing down on the current number 1. So he's trying desperately to stay ahead. Michael Stephen has got it all to do. He's got to plow traffic, get forward, and hold off Fourie. It's going to be a tough race.
Here come the Class T's, and this is going to be action-fueled. Smallberger in the GTI. There's the 2 Fords, Duminy and Formato. And just at the back of that is Graham Nathan looking for this championship win.
And Michael Van Rooyen back into the mix, done a quick repair job to his car. He is out there. The Minis, unfortunately, both of them, that's Thompson and Mdakani, not able to make it out. Last-minute mechanical problems keeping them off the grid. So they're really just looking forward for next year. It's been a tough season for the Minis.
So around the outside we see Michael Van Rooyen and Sean Duminy, and he's looking really good on the outside, gets loads of drive.
Yeah, it looked like Nathan was maybe held up by Duminy braking slightly earlier than he perhaps should have going into turn number 1, and that has allowed Van Rooyen to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons. On board with Gennaro Bonafide, one of the Race 2 specialists that we've been calling throughout the year, just really battling to get his groove on here at Cape Town.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of frustration, a bit of niggle going on there. We don't know what's going on in his head. We do know that he wants to win.
What I do know is we've lost the Chevy Cruze out of the Class T's battle, so it looks like Van Rooyen's car didn't quite hold together as it should. We're heading towards the quarter marker of this race, and it is all to play for, and it's getting super physical. It has stayed super physical. It is an ugly race.
Or a relatively ugly move.
Yeah, that was Henny Groenewold just climbing the curbs and getting physical, sending poor old Gab Cronje to the outside. And that's going to change this race completely because everyone is closing right up. Michael Stephen has come through on Cronje. Cronje is now going to have to move over to allow Fourie to come through.
Yeah, well, the Audis are out in front for the moment, and Moss is leading that charge. But here come those BMWs. And Cronje, Matt, maybe just a little bit off the pace.
Yeah, just the whole way through qualifying. Could not match his teammate. but it's going to be a very hard ask to stay in this fight. Michael Stephen has got a real good situation going here. He is going to be allowed to tow up to the back end of Henny Groenewald, and hopefully they can work together to get up on the back wheel of Moss.
Steve, still Smallberger out there in front at the moment, and I'll tell you what, there is a chasing Graham Nathan, putting a lot of pressure on Sean Duminy, I'm sure.
He was changing his line there, trying to get up the inside, and he is just not allowed to get past. Duminy doing a late fade across to cover the inside line. You could see that Nathan had the drive, and Nathan now will have to work hard to sweep around the outside. He is getting forced way off the line that he wants to be on, and all the while it is the top two stretching things away. Duminy is playing the block.
Yeah, and he's also being clever too. I mean, let's not take it away from him. That's driving. Back on Class A. Here comes a really...
Oh, there we go.
Wide.
The mistake has come, and that was all Henny Groenewald just pushing way too hot into turn number one. Changed the race completely. Now we see Michael Stephen up into second place, and we'll wait for confirmation to see if it is Fourie that moves through. It is. Fourie moves through into third place, our championship points leader, and this is now a legit race because Groenewald is dropped all the way out the back end and allowed his teammate to close up.
Yeah, also Cronje did Fourie a big favour as well.
Look at this, here we go. Bonafide trying to sweep around the outside. There is no line there, even in a quattro.
Yeah, looked like there was a little tap there, a little bump. You know, I'm here. I'm still racing. I'm your teammate. And here we go again, out of Malmesbury. This could get really, really dodgy.
Yeah, here we go. Groenewald trying to get a tow on the back end of the BMW. We go back on board as there's a lead change in the Class Ts. So coming out of turn 2, the Ford Focus of Gary Formato has got the drive. He's got the job done. And he hits clear air for the first time.
Yeah, I'm looking at the braking from Sean Smallberger, and that car in the front end looks really unstable.
The front end, for me, actually looks like it's hooking up. It's the back end that's hanging all over the place, so maybe he's gone a little bit too hard on the suspension setting at the back. And we go on board once again with Graham Nathan. Again, he gets the drive. Again, Duminy tries to fade over, but he cannot get the job done this time. He tries to send Nathan to the dirt, but Nathan will have that inside line going down into Cape Town corner, and he will take over third place.
All right, he gets hard on the brakes, really outbrakes Duminy there into Cape Town corner, and that was as clean as a whistle.
Yeah, eventually, Duminy did try his very best to stop the charge of Nathan. Remember, Nathan able to lap half a second faster than anyone else out there. He can close down on these boys.
Yeah, well, if Nathan is closing down on the rest of the field, all Duminy's got to do is just get in and get the tow.
Yeah, he's trying, but you can see Duminy's car particularly hasn't got the legs down here. Formato has found a good setup. Duminy, the second car, unable to run.
Unbelievable Class 8. Moss is still out front, and here come the BMWs.
I feel that we're living on borrowed time, remember?
Oh, look at this.
Oh, man, these guys leaning all...
No ways.
Just teammates taking each other to the curb, not allowing anyone to come through. That was very, very dangerous.
Wow. I'd like to see that again, because that could have been a horror story.
That looked like it was Gennaro getting the drive out of Malmesbury, trying to get up the inside, very much like we saw with Duminy. It is. Groenewald leans him over, takes him to the wall. You can see both those cars were completely skew, completely out of line, and there's a wall just there. Pull the elbows in and take a breath.
But why keep your foot flat?
Well, it's racing, Steve. Everyone's trying to get through, trying to get the job done, but they will be talking about that in weeks to come. At the front end of the Class Ts, Smallberger fading off. Nathan and that 0.5 of a second advantage coming to the fore. He gets second place.
Again, watching him come into Cape Town, Smallberger that is, I still see that front end getting all squiggly, or is it the back end's stepping out?
Yeah, just battling. He's going to be lucky to hang on to this third place. He should be able to maintain, because it looks like he's got around about 3 seconds over the man that sits in fourth, and that's Duminy. But Smallberger has come to the fore. This is his best race season of the year.
Yeah, watch out, Gary Formato. We've got 2 GTIs ganging up. Right now, fits Simon Moss into Cape Town corner, hard on the brakes, on the inside, just blocking that line from Fourie, who's charging.
Yes, and here we go. Michael Stephen has got a real good run coming out of Cape Town corner, and watch for the switch to the inside. Moss will know he's there. He's going to go to the pit wall, and that allows a clean line. We're going to see a new race leader heading into turn 1.
The other thing to consider here, once this happens, and we know it's going to, it'll be up to Moss to block off Fourie.
No chance, because Fourie is right there. We know where the BMW is strong. It's right at the end of the opening straight there. And Fourie, even though he pulls up to the outside, he's going to have to sweep way wide going into turn 2.
Well, he's done a sterling job right now. it's a matter of time, it's a matter of laps, and can he keep Ferrari at bay? He's doing all he can right now, and Ferrari's on his bumper.
Moss will be able to survive for 2, possibly 3 more corners. But as soon as we get down the straight, the huge horsepower from the BMW will sweep past. It's going to be up to Moss to try and block that drive going into the next turn. You can see what he's doing.
Good crowds at Malmesbury Corner. It's a lovely place to watch this kind of racing. You're getting the best of world-class racing, production cars in Cape Town, and boy, have we got a race for you.
Michael Stephen leads. Moss is in second place, but for how long? You can see he's covering that inside line, but the horsepower of the BMW will see a top-end speed, able to pull up, but unable to get past. So you can see Ferrari is completely blocked right now, and it is giving microseconds advantage to the man that leads out front, Michael Stephen.
Yeah, you know, Michael Stevens has got to be a greyhound right now. He's got to run for what he's worth. But Moss, I've got to take my hat off him. I'll tip my hat. He's having a superb race right now.
He is, but he just got owned on top-end power. Ferrari comes through, a little nudge, a little tap, and Moss is hanging on by his fingertips now.
He's coming back at him.
Yeah, but the BMW will have the line going up into turn number 2. Oh, no, he gets his nose cut off. So Moss is doing an incredible wingman job here. And once again, Ferrari has to go fighting. But you can see Moss is under pressure. He can crack every now and again. But Ferrari will be massively frustrated.
Well, he will be. It's 40 degrees in the cockpit and 100 degrees under the helmet.
Yeah, and we look back into the second eyes of Gav Cronier. That other BMW seems to be running good, and these are good points for him in this race.
Well, he really is staying out of trouble, and that's the key in a race like this.
I have to highlight the fact that the Sasol Audi teammates of Henny Groenewold and Gennaro Bonafide are still racing out there, but they are 5 to 6 seconds off the back wheel.
Yeah, they've blown them away completely, and there'll be a lot of frustration in that team right now, and they'll need to really put things on the table and talk about incidences, because we don't want to see anything nasty happen out there.
Here we go. Once again, Ferrari building up the pace, trying to get that thing wound up as hard as he can, and still he has to go to the outside and do the job on the brakes. He's trying to get the big drive, outside line, cut across. That's the job done. Cuts across enough time to cover that inside line. Moss will not be able to fight back.
Yeah, he's got him. Well done, Fury. But you know what? Remarkable from Simon Moss. And he'll feel it. He can still come back at him. He did it here again coming into the turn 2.
Yeah, Ferrari just covering that inside line. Moss goes across to the sweet line, trying to carry the outside line
and
speed.
Here comes Cronier.
But he is opening the door, so he's in trouble there. And now we should be able to see the BMW stretch out. Not through the top end here, because this is where the Audis are super strong. But down the straight, he will hold some advantage.
Class T, and here they come all the way down the back straight to Cape Town Corner. And it is Nathan. And this is a championship deciding race against... Oh, my word, he's thrown it!
And a possible championship maneuver there. Nathan, you can see he was way hot on the brakes there. Just as he says... ran out of talent, but he should be able to fight back for a podium position.
Oh my goodness, 10 of 12, and does the drama get any thicker?
Oh, once again, he has to get through on Duminy. He must absolutely dread it when he comes up on the back end of that second Ford. But Nathan trying to sweep around the outside, go for the big cutback, and there will be some daylight up the inside there. There's going to be a small touch. There it is, just a tag. Duminy tried to cover that outside line, and he's going to take Nathan to the wall. You've got to believe it.
Yeah, you can see him. He's drifting, squeezing, but Nathan will come. He will keep coming, and he'll charge. That bumper still looks dodgy for me right now.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
And there we go. Job done. Just at the end of pit lane, thank you very much. Customized for the marshals to just pick it up. But Nathan is going to have to just live on this one and make a clean pass. You can see no one up the road, so Nathan is a long way off the top 2. He will be able to get third place, but he's going to have to fight super hard for it.
He really is, and for Malta's going to be going, is this a dream come true for me?
Yeah, Gary, like we say, coming down to Cape Town, he's found some good numbers on his car, and he has found a good setup in the feature race.
Right now, the Premier Class, it's Class A, down to Cape Town Corner, down the back straight, Michael Stephen. Well, job done from Simon Moss, and I think he's probably going to be thanking Simon Moss in the pits for a great battle.
Yeah, it really had us on our toes as well, but Michael Stephen, a win. But unfortunately for him, championship points leader Johan Ferrari gets second place and enjoys a comfortable lead in the championship still.
Absolutely brilliant racing. Let's go back and check on Class T, and here comes the action for Malto. Smallberger gets through. For Malto, might have a problem.
It doesn't sound good. It really does not. That Ford, something has let go right on the last lap and allowed Charles Smallberger to come through and potentially take his first ever victory in Bridgestone Production Cars Class T.
It'll be outstanding for him. He's been driving really well today and thoroughly. Oh, look at that.
I have to point this out. So what was first became second, became third, and he's going to be last on the page in Class T. And look at Duminy. You actually noticed it a couple of laps ago, just after that bumper came off. We've got a massive fender hanging out the back of what will be now the first Ford Focus. Charles Smallberger makes history, and he takes his first victory in Bridgestone Production Cars Class T. Nathan gets second.
And the championship.
Exactly. That's what it's come down to. It all breaks loose at Cape Town. It always does.
Confirmation results Class A. Stephen, Ferree, Cronier, top 3 places, with Moss in 4th, Bonafide 5th.
Mikey, you needed a real good result, and it was clear that there was a format to that race. It did play out, but you'd be happy to hit the front.
Yeah, certainly a great race. And I think with Simon starting on pole and myself, in 5th, it all came together. I had a good couple of opening laps. I got past, the cars in front of me, and I kept Johan behind. And then, I managed to catch up to Simon. He drove an absolutely brilliant race. And then, obviously, he didn't make it difficult for me to get past. And I think he drove a great race. So, thanks to him.
BMWs were queuing up pretty hard there. You managed to hold off Ferree for, I think it was 2 or 3 laps of solid pressure. He certainly was almost touching you, I think maybe a little touch down the bottom of Cape Town corner. But you managed to hang on and cover the inside line for a while.
Yeah, well, I tried to as much as I could, but you can only prevent straight line for a certain while, and had nothing. Would have been nice to have a good dice with Johan, with him overtaking me in a corner, but straight will do, and they finished ahead of us. So yeah, good race though.
Confirmation Class T. Charles Smallberger, his debut win. Graham Nathan in 2nd and wins the championship. Sean Duminy and Gary Formato in the 4th.
Charles, it finally happened, but Class T has been such a hard road for you to travel, and finally here at the penultimate round, you pulled one out and get the win.
Yeah, man, I'm ecstatic. We've worked all year for this. Just a big thanks to my dad, first of all, and everyone involved in making this possible. What a feeling.
Yeah, a little bit of a depleted grid this time around, but you had to fight hard for that. It looked like Gary was going to go away with it, and then his car went off towards the end.
Yeah, I got a little bit lucky, but, you've got to take it. And a win in production cars, I'll take it any day.
Graham, climbing the ladder, you got yourself up there, and then what happened over there?
Yeah, it was one of those I'll break when you break big balls moments, and then Gary braked because he used his brains and I didn't, and I just rode straight off the road and got back on, and then I managed to catch Sean, and unfortunately for him, his bumper came off the tailgate open, which, thank you very much, I'll have that, because these things don't go when the tailgate's open. And yeah, what a great day, what a great race. My teams did very, very well. 3 cheers to Charles Smallberger. He's taken his first national win. I think it's actually the first time he's won a national race, and it's the first win that he's had here. So great job by him, great job by the team. All thumbs up.
Championship points as they stand. Johan Ferree, it's a 2-horse race. Michael Stephen, 11 points in it. It's going to get exciting.
And the Class T's wrapped up at the penultimate round here at Cape Town. Nathan is crowned champion once again. Formato and Van Rooyen looking for the 2nd place. The final round of race action is on the 1st of November. Join us as it gets hot. All of the action from the Bridgestone Production Cars penultimate round at Cape Town was proudly brought to you by BMW. Sheer driving pleasure.